Okay, shall I continue now?
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
So, so this is a beautiful site. I would recommend everybody to visit. It is amazing. It's 50 meters high. It is Bahubali. And who was Bahubali?
ऋषभ देव सन भरत तन बाहुबली
Correct.
उनके बेटे
तो मैं जब ये presentation बना रही थी, I got an idea as a project, maybe in the future, we should do this kind of quiz. Because with this quiz, people will learn more. It can be open to non-Jains also, and they will discover about Jainism. I came up with some hashtags also. Uh, and you know, this is in this beautiful, it's in Hassan district. And यहाँ पे एक बहुत बड़ा water tank भी है. And you will see like actually from a huge distance, you can see the Bahubali here. And you know, there are, abhi to the Digambar nuns don't come out that much. But here, when they do that Kesh Lochan, I think that's what it's called, when they are removing the thing, they actually pluck it with their hands. Huh? They don't do shaving and all. They are a lot more
हम्म।
strict. So it's actually, we can really get to like some of the older practices when we spend time with them. And this
All
was,
Jain monks follow that, even
Yes.
Shwetambar, everyone.
Even Svetambar and
oh,
everyone follows that same pattern.
हाँ।
oh, because I've seen in films they shave also, and only for ritual they cut only part.
No, no, no.
Okay, nice. So this was built in 983 BCE. Sorry, CE, AD. So imagine it is something remarkable. It's one granite rock, monolith, एक rock पे carved है ये. ऐसा sculptures हमें, it's unbelievable. And while I was doing research, I came across a 2021 article in Deccan Herald, for which link I've given here. Okay, this is an excavation that has been done in the same Hassan district. Although it is not dating as old as Shravanabelagola, it is kind of, I think it was, okay, here it's not mentioned, but about 12th to 14th century, it may have dated around that time. So the excavator said, it was a mound measuring 30 meters by 20 meters. We have dug out the plinth of the temple and discovered many artifacts and sculptures from the site. It seems to be a Jain temple, right? He also said that this could be a beginning and there might exist some bigger temples nearby. And I would say, the ASI had been receiving reports of artifacts found around Halebidu, which already has a magnificent temple from the Hoysala period. Among the artifacts discovered were the sculptures of a Jain Upasak measuring 2 feet in height. So, you know, South India had a rich, rich culture. And, you know, when a lot of the invasions happened, they were happening in North. So somehow South India में जो Dravidian culture है, that has been preserved in the sense in some ways. But we always associate Jainism with a North Indian religion. But more and more we dig, we see that back in the day, even in South India, not just when Bhadrabahu came down, but even before him, that there were a lot of Jain Munis. They were called Niganthas, and because without them, see we know about the Jain culture now. Do you think so many monks will come to the south if they don't have Shravaks here? Would they come? They wouldn't come. So the Shravaks community was there. There has been a tradition, and Shravanabelagola, Moorbidri, so many sites uh, are, are famous and important. Even Gwalior, ma'am went there recently, I think. So यहाँ पे भी there are lots of caves with multiple temples that we find from 7th to 15th centuries. I'm not talking about the popular sites. Anyway, as students of Jainism, we owe it to Hermann Jacobi. Say Jacobi. He was a German.
Simar, your voice is reduced.
Can you hear me now?
सबको आ रही है आवाज?
Yes.
Okay.
आ रही है हमको.
You continue then.
Yeah. As a student of Jainism, we owe a lot to Hermann Jacobi, who was an Indologist, and he was a specialist in Jainism and Sanskrit. We have just 10 minutes, so I'll go fast. Max Muller, आप पूछ रहे थे ये अलका. Max Muller के Sacred Books of the East is what introduced the Eastern philosophy to the West. And the chapters on Jainism were written by Hermann Jacobi, who also published Kalpakota. And this one important book on Mahavira and his predecessors, which I will quote in. Before entering upon an inquiry about the date of Mahavir's Nirvan, we must first discuss the question whether Jainism and Buddhism had each its separate and independent origin, or the one was a division of the other. So we have already established it was pre-Vedic. A lot of people have commented on that. Now we're trying to get to how it was predating Buddhism. In Path to Purification, Padmanabh S. Jain, he says very beautifully that um, when Mahavir was at the peak of his career, Buddha, who we know is the founder of Jainism, Buddhism, had just began his career. So Buddhism was founded by Buddha, but Mahavir continued this parampara that has been going on since eternity. Um, his work, his work was more on Hora, which means hour, I think, in astronomy, Jyotisha. And he challenged many mainstream ideas कि वो Indo-Aryans कौन थे. And he was also a Sanskrit scholar. So he said the Niganthas are frequently mentioned by the Buddhists even in the oldest parts of the Pitakas. But I have not yet met with a distinct mention of the Buddha in any of the old Jain sutras. So we know that we know that Mahavir and Buddha were contemporaries, but they never met, and their students met. And the Buddhist scriptures, many of them refer to Mahavir, but in the Jain Sutras, we don't get the other. This seems to have been the opinion of the Pitakas too, for we have no indication to the contrary in them. That is, as it is inconsistent with our assumption of a contemporaneous origin of both creeds, we are driven to the conclusion that the Niganthas were not a newly founded sect of Buddha's time. By the way, he was so inspired by Jain philosophy, he wished that in the future he is reborn as Jain. So in Buddhist literature, we find in Mool Madhyama Karika, Gautam Buddha is described as having accepted the Jain teachings. In fact, if you go to Thailand and to other places, you will find sculptures of Buddha who's fasting almost until, like, his bones and all are showing. So he did go through that path, but he found it too tough and too extreme. And he kind of revised it and made it more accessible and open to people. But remember, ये impression हमें दिखता है कि when we see Buddha's figure, when you show it to a foreigner or even to some Indians, if you show Mahavir's figure and Buddha's figure, they'll think it's the same person. But a basic distinction between Buddhism and Jainism, even philosophically, is that Buddhism does not believe in a soul. That makes Jainism a very unique. In fact, like something
Actually,
very
Buddha was a contemporary.
Sorry?
Actually, Buddha was a contemporary to Lord Mahavira. And
Yes,
initially, he had started, according to Jain philosophy, he was following. But later on,
yes,
no, he could not continue the
yes,
strict austerities, penances followed
exactly.
by Jain people. So he started his own mark.
Yes,
And this
yes, ma'am.
link is going to get over in 5 minutes. So, how many slides you have?
Many more, ma'am.
Many more, no? So, it is
Can
already
we
going to
join?
4 o'clock. You will be
Huh.
able to continue tomorrow.
Ma'am, tomorrow I can't.
Tomorrow you can't.
No, ma'am. If you give
You
me
have
50, oh, you have another class at 4?
Yeah, only 5 minutes are left for this link.
Okay, I can quickly finish this. Shall I quickly finish this?
Yeah.
It's a lot actually, ma'am.
So if by chance if it gets over, then we can continue on Monday. Monday you'll be free, no? Tomorrow I'll take the class. Or if somebody, Ashish ji was saying, if she wants to do, he can do. Otherwise, I can start. I can take class tomorrow. Then you can continue on Monday.
Okay,
Monday
ma'am.
you are free, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you finish this slide first. 4 minutes you have.
Okay. Yes. So exactly what I said, that they both were contemporaries, but they never met, and their students did meet and exchange notes. And we have those question answers discussions available. But remember that while they are all considered Shramanic, they're different in philosophy. Buddhism did not believe in a soul, but it is true that they were also Kshatriya, like the Jains. And they were the followers of, so Jains were actually the follower of the Niganthas. The word Jaina, because we follow, like, the followers of the Nigantha tradition.
What
But we
Nirgrantha
all
means?
worship the Jains.
What is the meaning of Nirgrantha?
I said that earlier, ma'am. Two meanings. One is just, which is without gunt or without knot, without attachments. And the other is without granth or without books, because we did not believe in this thing. Nirgranth
No,
is
no,
a
no.
Sanskrit.
इसमें condition देना was rag and dvesh both. No granthi, no notes of anything.
Correct. Correct. And
Very good.
Nirgranth, the Sanskrit word, उस रीफ और री नहीं होती प्रकृत में, इसलिए निगंठ, निगंथा.
Yes.
Uh, Nigantha means unattached, without possessions, an ancient name for the Jain community. This is said by Kusambi. And
Yes.
Buddhist texts refer to the existence of large number of Niganthas, unattached ones who followed the Samvar. And this is the book on the right, which is mentioned, which ma'am had also suggested.
Kasar.
We refer to this in our studies,
It is
and
compendium of
some of the,
Jainism. If anybody wants in English, it is compendium of Jainism.
yes, yes, ma'am. And this is also available with us in our folders. Um, I think I have 2 more minutes. Basically, Mahavir is referred to as Nigantha Nagaputta. And also that the Buddhist scriptures mentions Mahavir's Nirvan in Pavapuri as well, and also of the Mahavratas that he took. So
Very
all
good.
these things are there. So we've established today that Buddhism, Jainism is not an offshoot of Buddhism or or related to Vedic parampara. It is pre-Vedic, ancient, eternal, and we'll continue in our next class.
Yeah, very good. Very good. You are going the right track. You can continue in the next class. And one more thing I wanted to ask, like really, I was very depressed with yesterday's test. So next thing, what you people want to do, you let me know if you want me to continue this same marks with some appreciation, or maybe 2 marks I can give. Otherwise, you want to write a fresh test of 1 or 2 questions in long form. What is the thing that you want to do? Let me know. All of you decide something
Yes,
and come
ma'am.
out with something tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll discuss it tomorrow.
Okay,
Okay.
ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
सोच लो क्या करना है, मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, बट आप लोग को क्या करना है
मैम
वो देख लीजिए.
ऑल्टरनेटिव ऑप्शन क्या है? मतलब अगर इस मार्क से कंटिन्यू नहीं करना है अगर तो
मैम वही तो बोल रही है कि हमें डिसाइड
I
करके
why I
भेजना
don't
है.
want to continue क्योंकि you people will lose lots of marks. See assignment
या
ये टेस्ट जो होती है ना वहां पे आप लोग को अच्छे मार्क मिल सकते हैं. 6 मिले हैं, 8 मिले, 10 मिले, 12 मिले हैं. So I'm really not happy. तो इसीलिए मुझे लग रहा है कि कुछ ऑप्शन करना है, तो क्या करना है आप लोग सोच के बोलो कल. नो प्रॉब्लम.
ओके मैम, हम लोग डिस्कस कर लेते हैं.
और अगर लॉन्ग
ओके.
आंसर लिखना है और तभी डिस्कस करके करना है तो वैसे भी कर सकते हैं. और आप लोग की तत्वार्थ एग्जाम है बाद में करना है तो वो भी कर सकते हैं. वी हैव टाइम. डिसाइड,
ओके।
नो प्रॉब्लम। एक तो प्रेजेंटेशन हो गया है वहां पे, तो नो प्रॉब्लम, बट दिस इज द टेस्ट। अगर रीटेस्ट लेना है तो भी नो प्रॉब्लम। सोचो सोचो।